What's up, everybody? I'm Z-Wade, the Z-Wade in Z-Wade Photo, and I'm super late to making this video, but, you know, it doesn't really apply to me because I'm a photographer, and my video needs are kind of taken care of by different products. And that which doesn't apply to me is, of course, the Nikon ZR. This is clearly targeted at cameras like the Sony FX30. So, cinema kind of level video capabilities and something about yay big. Nobody was surprised that Nikon launched something like this. Ever since they bought Red, it just seemed kind of like a natural progression for this to come at some point. Something small, compact, cinema-focused, video-focused, and even got a viewfinder on it. It does have a bigger screen, which is pretty cool. I would take a bigger screen on like my regular cameras, to be honest with you. I'm shocked I'm not seeing reports of this thing like overheating and like melting because it's not that big. It's like this thick or something. Like the FX30 is kind of fat, right? Because it has like cooling mechanisms in it, and this doesn't appear to have cooling mechanisms. I'm looking at the layout here, and I think it's fantastic. It's really simple, right? You have 1, 2, 3. You have photo and video switch, and you have a power button on the left side, and you have a record button, and looks like a God, why did I go blank on that? A rocker for your power zoom, you know, for the couple of power zoom lenses that Nikon has currently. I already said Sony FX30 at one point. It's FX3, right? Full frame. The ZR is full frame. I'm stuck in the habit of saying FX30 because FX30 rolls off my tongue better than FX3. I'll probably say FX30 a lot more times in this video. Just know every time I say FX30, I'm trying to say FX3, 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 FX3. So Nikon ZR, basically Nikon Z63 kind of video abilities. Now, I owned the Z63 for a while. I bought it specifically to do video work on YouTube before I switched to something like this, which, side note, this takes care of all my video needs, so I won't have a Nikon ZR for now. More on that later. But I used the Nikon Z63 like one would use the Nikon ZR. I actually didn't really use the Z63 for photos that much because I bought it specifically for video. Now, since the ZR is more or less Nikon Z63 platform, haven't looked into it that much. Maybe this does some things that the Z63 doesn't. I know that this is going to catch a lot of flack because people were pooping all over the Nikon Z63. Now, I didn't see like a huge issue with that. I saw some people that just using the ISO correctly didn't really have that much of an issue, and they saw some things, but they're like, yeah, like you kind of expect this with like what it is. And the people that maybe didn't know what they were doing were like, oh, this is absolute crap. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not a video guy, so I don't know the struggles that you guys have. Either way, Nikon Z63 was a fantastic camera for me, for what I needed it for, and it's a fantastic sensor. It does excellent photos. That being said, this doesn't work at the making of this video because there's like a $500 instant savings on the Z63. But if you don't want a viewfinder and you still want the image quality of a Z63, you can get the Nikon ZR for less than what a Z63 costs whenever it's not on sale, like a lot less. Like it should be $26.96.95. They're on sale, Z63s are, for $21.96.95 currently at the making of this video. But the ZR, brand new price, new item, new release, coming soon, $21.96.95. Not only is that an interesting proposition if you don't really care about a viewfinder, if you're just kind of like a casual like point and shoot. This is kind of like a point and shoot style, right? You know, with no viewfinder. It might fit in a coat pocket better than a Z63, and there's no grip on it. Maybe that's your bag. You can have a really high quality stills walk around camera for $500 less than the exact same thing that has a viewfinder. Not that I'd recommend doing that. I think you should use a viewfinder if you're going to do photography. It's just easier to frame or whatever. But that $21.96.95 is even more shocking when you look at the FX30. No, the FX3. I knew I was going to do it. Those are basically $4,000, and they've been around since 2021. The regular price of an FX30, I said it right that time because I'm talking about the FX30, and that's a crop sensor, is $1948. So here's the thing. Is anybody going to give up their FX30 for, no, the FX... Shit. Is anybody going to give up their FX3 for a Nikon ZR? No, probably not, because they already spent a lot of money on their FX3. They're already in that system. But if Nikon markets this right, I don't think anybody in the world who is new to videography is going to look at those two cameras, the FX3 and the ZR, and pick the FX3 because it's literally $2,000 less and it's newer. You have more lens options in the Sony mount currently, but still, with a $2,000 saving, you can get you a pretty dang good lens or a collection of Nikon Z mount f1.8 lenses, like the 51.8 or the 20mm f1.8 or the 24 or the 35, whatever. You can get multiple lenses and probably still come out under that $4,000 mark of the FX3. If Nikon spends the money on good marketing to get this in front of the right people, it seems like they would sell a ton of them compared to the FX3 at this point. And to be honest, probably the FX30 as well. The point I'm getting at, is it FX3 or FX30 killer like you've been seeing on YouTube? Well, I don't know because I'm not a video guy, right? I didn't do a deep dive into the specs, but I am a financial guy. And just looking at the two options, if I was coming in, it just seems so obvious the way that they priced this ZR. It is a pretty insane value. Just the fact that it's a Z63 sort of platform at that launch price, that's an insane value on its own. So this is, feels like Nikon is just giving us a gift, or they're getting people into the system for a really exciting future that is coming from Nikon/Red video. One final note, I said more on this later when I was talking about my video needs. Absolutely, I'm not getting the Nikon ZR right now. I don't have a plan to ever because my YouTube channel is still small. However, I would put out there that if I was in the position to have a staff, somebody that was always doing my video, I already have Nikon Z mount lenses. I don't really have need for the Nikon Cine lenses that are coming. They're not out yet at the making of this video. But if I had hired staff, even if this video person had their own equipment that's like not Nikon equipment, I would probably get the ZR. That way they're using the company's gear. You use my gear, not your gear. I'd rather it be Nikon because I'm used to Nikon files and know what they look like, right? I know how to edit them. I just know what the goods are, right? That's what I edit all the time. I'm just used to it, right? I would rather have a ZR. I own the gimbal, I own the ZR, I own the lens, and they just use the company's equipment. I absolutely would buy, I keep pointing at this, it's still on the FX30. That would be the obvious choice to put in the hands of the videographer of Z-Wade Photo LLC to have them follow me around on a gimbal and do all my video work. Let me know in the comments if you're picking up a ZR. I'm Z-Wade, the Z-Wade, and Z-Wade Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.